What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer doing the deck profile for Eldlich Melffy. Yes, that is correct. A pretty interesting deck. It's really like a synchro build of Eldlich. A lot of synergy, a few cases where they do conflict with each other, and I have a good gameplay video for that, so I'll explain. But I'll go ahead and into the card by card. I'll show that extra bonus gameplay, and then we'll go from there. A couple of Eldlich, I feel like you have to run two. I've tried to run this at one, and it's just really awkward. A couple Alpha the Master of Beasts. This is another card where I'm like iffy on playing, to be honest with you, but it is really good disruption going second. It's searchable too, and it can deal with a lot of like big problem cards, along with just being like, if your opponent has like a bunch of negates, like sometimes you can just slap this on the board, attack over it, and then bounce over something else. So technically it is like a really good card. Rescue Cat's really awesome in this deck. It's a one card Materia Beast, which is like one of the powerhouses, like one of the biggest strengths of the deck is how easy it is to make it. Obedience School also accomplishes that, but so the target for Rescue Cat here is X-Saber Airbellum. It's a level 3 tuner. Decent effect, in my opinion. If you get to attack directly, you get to discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Doesn't come up all the time, but it's certainly like the fact that you can do so many like not foolish burials, compulsory evacuations in the deck, like you have access to a few of those. It actually ends up being half okay, at least to me. I do like playing it, and mostly it's the best level 3 beast tuner in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Other than that, three Ash Blossom, not really a lot of disruption like going second. You're like mostly trying to break boards versus like stop a board from happening. This isn't a meta deck. This is obviously very casual, but it does kind of work out. This gives you like a slot for like whatever tech card you want. It's just that Ash is like the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much. Hoppy or Squadron, I run a couple of copies of these. I think you could drop this to 1 if you really wanted to and play another Alpha. But they're like, this card is a lot better than you might think it is, because these are level 5s, and so that gives you access to some pretty decent cards. There's a whole lot of other stuff. You can also combine it with Eldlich. You can combine it with your Melffy cards. You can do synchro for just about anything. I've kind of built my extra deck around that idea. A couple of copies of Melffy Puppy, a couple of copies of Sealy. I think you could even drop this down to 1, maybe. Potentially drop this down to 1. Kalimtosa, I like to run that 1. It's just a pop from the deck. You don't really want to draw it. A couple of Melffy Cathys. So this one lets you add beast monsters from your hand. So basically whatever you don't have. Like sometimes I've even added Airbellum. And then 3 copies of Wallaby. Of course, it's like the best Melffy card ever exists. Get the special summon 2 from the deck, which is obviously very good. Normally it's always going to be Puppy and it's going to be Cathy. And if like Cathy or Caddy gets so much better, considering like if you already have a Hoppier in your hand, you get to add a lot of really cool cards. Like you get to add Sealy or maybe Alpha, whatever the case may be, but a lot of good utility there. Run copy of Key Mouse, so this is part of Obedience Schooled. I mean, it technically has an effect. If you set it, it won't probably never come up, but I guess you just never know. It's a decent level 1 Earth tuner. 1 Magician Souls and 1 Illusion of Chaos. Now, this is very random, but it is for a specific reason. Basically, like you can go into Herald like very like quickly. Like you have Hoppier, and you can combine any of your Melffys. Like a lot of times, I like to make Kalimtosa and Hoppier and go into Herald. So if you negate it, there are a lot of spells and traps, and they work so well, with the Eldlich engine. Basically, just a search an Illusion of Chaos. It works for me. I do recommend it. I know it's not the most traditional Magician Souls package, but it's pretty decent for sure. And also, if you hard draw, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like if you hard open Kalimtosa, sometimes Saber, and then a lot of the times like Key Mouse. So there is more use than just searching it. 3 copies of Obedience Schooled, 1 copy of Melffy Tag. So if you open Obedience Schooled, you can normally go into Naturia Beast and one of the Melffy Exceed, which can special summon 2 back from the graveyard eventually. Because it'll have like at least 1 material, which you can do a whole lot of things with. So that's kind of the utility for that. Just the 1 Melffy Tag, because you make Naturia, make the Exceed, you detach 1, and then you can search Melffy Tag, bring that back, and then the other card ends up getting searched too. So it basically gets around the idea of Obedience School, which negates those effects. You actually end up getting all of them. 3 copies of Cursed Eldlin, 3 copies of Scarlet Sanguine, 2 copies of Conquistador, 1 copy of Hakero, and 1 Golden Land Forever. This is the golden ratio for me when Eldlich is used as an engine. I've used this for every single deck, and it works every time for me. Going on to the extra deck, Geomathematic Final Sigma is kind of a funny boss monster. Eldlich can be combined with Hopier to make it. Baron can be made with Alpha and a Hopier, so definitely want to have as many possibilities as possible. A couple of 8s. A lot of times you have like a lot of weird like levels on the board, and if you want to get rid of them, you can go into some pretty decent stuff. Adamancipator Dragite has literally won me a duel. You can see that in the gameplay video. Draco has also won me a duel, which is pretty cool. So these cards actually do get used. Black Rose Dragon is funny. Like, it's probably the best way I can describe it. A Conquistador plus Hopier equals, Black Rose. So if you have like a really bricky hand of like just Conquistador and Hopier, you can at least nuke your opponent's board during their turn, which they obviously would never be expecting. No one plays this card. F8 on Dragster, another level 7 target, probably going to be used a little bit more than Black Rose. The Turia Beast I've been talking about, the new Synchro is absolutely insane. It's a quick effect, bounce back to the hand, which normally is going to be used for extra deck monsters. A ton of other uses you'll see in some of the gameplay videos. Herald of Arclight, pretty straightforward. A couple of Divine Zeuses, because you can do stuff like Sky Cavalry. Sometimes your Melffy's Exceed can get pretty big because Melffy Sealy attaches. So I definitely want as much utility as possible when it comes to these. I also run Doubter Magician, so you can get 2 pops of Zeus. And so the other Melffy, it's Joyous Melffy and Melffy of the Force. Melffy Mommy, I think, stinks pretty bad. Don't worry about the side deck. I don't really have like a good one. This was just me play testing. You could. These are fine. But yeah, not really like an expert on the side deck, to be honest with you. We'll go ahead and go into the plays here. Not too many, just a few good examples. And I just want to show a few interactions in this one. So things that you definitely have to keep in mind. So Cursed Eldlin. So I'm thinking I'm going to set 1. So my idea behind this initially was I'm going to keep this in my hand because if Cursed Eldlin stays on the board, I can search an Eldlich and I'll have disruption during my opponent's turn. I'll be able to send something from the field. He does have Lightning Storm, pretty unfortunate, so he's going to go ahead and use that. I was going to try to chain Conquistador and then chain Hopier in hopes that I could like quick effect after, but no, the effect would have to resolve afterwards, so this doesn't work, which kind of sucks. But okay, so you would think that's like not really great. I only have 1 monster, but this one monster, this Wallaby, puts in so much work, and having Hopier in your hand already does make a big difference. So I can go ahead and add the Sealy to my hand. I'm going to be able to go into the Synchro now, which is huge because he does have Moon Mirror Shield, so I definitely have an easy way to get around that. I can go ahead and bounce that back to his hand. Moon Mirror Shield can probably go to the bottom of the deck, which is pretty nice. He's going to get that additional normal summon, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go ahead and throw that back into the extra deck, give myself a little bit of defense, go into Kalimtos, destroy the back row, make it so Eldlich can't attack, and then right here, Hopier is going to go ahead and combine with Kalimtos. I just talked about this. Because I think this is a mandatory effect, the draw effect, so I'm going to go ahead and use Herald of Arclight, which is going to trigger to add Illusion of Chaos. So even through Lightning Storm, I had like 20,000 different plays. I had so much I could do, during my opponent's turn, which is awesome. It shows just kind of how powerful they are. This is against Branded, sure. Not the best version of Branded. He's playing Keeper of Dragon Magic, which really isn't the best card in the world. I'll go ahead and ash that there. He does have Branded Fusion. Maybe I should have waited to do that, but I don't know. I think going -2 is probably pretty good. He hard makes Mirror Jade of the Ice Blade Dragon. I'm going to go ahead and use Cursed Eldlin. I want to get rid of his Ice Jade before I put a monster on the board, but he did have Tri-Brigade Mercourier in his hand. Pretty unfortunate. I'm going to go ahead and go into a Synchro here. It's going to be Herald of Arclight. So this is basically just going to protect my plays. Because I was going to bring back Eldlich, and then if he tried to, banish it, I can just go ahead and, negate it with Herald of Arclight. During the standby, I'm going to go ahead and go into Scarlet Sanguine. He's really just using all of the new support. It's kind of funny. He's going to try to get over this Herald. I'm going to go ahead and destroy with the Conquistador. And then he's going to set this Ice Dragon's Prison. He can't actually activate Branded Fusion because of Herald of Arclight, which is kind of funny, which is a really good interaction to know because of Branded is literally everywhere. The structure deck just came out, and obviously everybody likes it. So there you go. Because it banishes from the deck. It doesn't send any card sent from the deck to the graveyard is banished instead. So Herald has a pretty good floodgate in this format specifically. This is like that base deck. Basically, you can do anything. This is a really good lesson. So Scarlet Sanguine locks you into zombie monsters. So he's going to try to summon, and I'm going to try to bounce this back to my hand, and then it's just going to stay in my hand and do nothing. So I definitely made a mistake there. He does have Ghost Ogre. I'm going to go ahead and negate because I shouldn't have. In my mind, I didn't realize it was Scarlet Sanguine, so I should have read my own cards. I didn't do that. But a good lesson to know for anybody who wants to pick up this deck. He's going to go into Predaplant Verde Anaconda. I make another misplay here. He's going to go ahead and destroy the Conquistador. I can set a Scarlet Sanguine. And I'm going to activate Cursed Eldlich, and he's going to chain Destiny here. I should not have chained Scarlet to this, because if he really thought about this for like even 1 second, like he would have destroyed the Hakero. Because now he's not going to have Destiny, Hero, Phoenix Enforcer anymore. So I just kind of got lucked out there. I'm going to go ahead and attack directly, and then during the standby phase, I will activate Hakero. Hakero is going to go ahead and banish the Phoenix Enforcer, meaning he doesn't have access to it. You can change so much when it comes to Melffys, which that's one of my favorite parts about the deck. So you're going to see a really cool chain here. I do a whole bunch of stuff, and he's just not able to interact with me at all. So he's going to go ahead and activate, or grab himself a Ghost Ogre. He's going to try to activate Rite of Amicia. That's fine. I do have the Conquistador anyways for Fateful Adventure. I can chain this, and I'm going to destroy this. So, let's see. I let him destroy this one because I don't really need the special summon. I don't need Kalimtos. What I really needed was Sealy, so that I can, shoot the Dasher back to his hand, so he couldn't set a card and draw 2 cards. So I thought that was a pretty nice chain of events there. I was able to do a whole lot of stuff. And then, just having Hakero against Phoenix Enforcer puts in more work than you might think. He's playing Mr. Rune. All right. I kind of misplayed this here. This is kind of an interesting one. So Magical Musketeers, able to do some pretty cool stuff with Quick Clay spells. I have a good matchup against this because of Obedient Schooled, which is what I try to go into first. I probably should activate a Cursed Eldlich before anything else. That was my mistake, but all right. I'm still able to make my plays. So here comes Arabellum. It's still a 1600 attack body, which is kind of dumb, but there's a lot of low defense monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh, so it kind of can come up, but I'm not going to be able to get the discard effect because it can't attack directly. I wish this was Battle Fate or battle damage and you could discard, but no. Okay, so I'm going to have a Golden Land forever, and during the end phase I can get a Puppy, which is going to special summon even a Wallaby if I really wanted to, but it could also be Kalimtos. I just need to get the field spell because the deck really can't do anything without it, and he ends up surrendering. So yeah, that was the deck profile and a little bit of gameplay video for Eldlich Melffy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.